Plaintiff Gerald Grimes met the defendant through his fiance's son, and he tried to help him out. Gerald claims he often gave the defendant rides to work, and he even added him to his cell phone plan. But he's suing because the defendant failed to pay the bills. Defendant Darius Lennox says he never really knew Gerald all that well, and anytime Gerald gave him a ride to work, he always paid him for gas. Darius claims before he got a chance to pay the cell phone bill, Gerald shut it off, so he refuses to pay.
Start with you.
I've known Darius for about a year. How I met him is through my fiance, Wanda Boone here, and her son, and he's friends with the son. And he's been over to the house several times. We had him over for dinner, over for holidays. I've taken him to work several times. And he approached Wanda and I and said he needed a cell phone, and he'd also like to get one for
her
CJ.
Son.
Yeah, her and him, both of them. They want to get two of them. Well, he was not working at the time.
The son wasn't.
The son was not working at the time.
All right.
And so that's exactly where we went that direction. We said, well, who's going to pay for all this? And he told me that he would be reliable for all fees involved with this.
All right. What type of guy was he? Was he a trustworthy kid? Was he causing problems when he came over? Did you hear about problems that he had?
I figured he was having a hard time because he was living with his sister at the time, and then something happened where he had to move out. So he moved to our town, and he was living with...
Well, he was a decent guy as far as you knew for that year.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know the whole side of the story, but I said, here's somebody that needs some help, and Juana and I discussed it, and she says, I trust him, and I feel it's a good idea.
And he worked full-time?
He worked part-time at a restaurant, and he also was a student at the time.
Good. Sir, give me some background on yourself.
I know. I don't really know Jerry as well as he's saying. I know him.
You know him enough to get that phone.
I mean, yeah.
Did you meet him a year ago or a year before doing
I wouldn't say a year. Mm-hmm. I moved up. I moved to Alliance in July, and he would give me rides to work, but he also required gas money as well. So.
You were offended by that?
I mean, not really, but he makes it seem like he's done a lot for me.
Giving you rides is doing enough. How often would he take you to work?
When I asked, but...
How often would that be on average?
I mean, like...
once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week?
A couple times during the week.
Couple of times during the week for a year. The man gives you a ride and you say, he ain't done nothing for me.
I mean, I didn't say he didn't do anything.
See, he acts like he did so much. So
yes.
I'm paraphrasing. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And we didn't really have a lot of combos. He would just be there when I would go to the house.
In the car when he was taking you twice a week, you all didn't talk?
I mean, not really. Because I'm a quiet person.
Okay. You're in school?
Yes, I'm in school.
What are you going to do after that?
I plan to go to college for cosmetology.
All right. Pretty good at that? You're doing friends' hair or?
Yes, I'm not experienced, but I know how to.
All right. Just wondering. A lot of young people who go to cosmetology school have already had some experience doing their friends' and family's hair, and they know that they have a skill. You don't go there if you don't have a skill, huh?
Yes. I have the skill. Yes, I have the skills.
So I'm looking at his hair. His lines are all over the place. Now, if you did his hair, don't go there.
I mean, I have the skills.
You do his hair? We'll find another profession.
He used to have dreads, and I used to retwist his dreads.
Well, you need to go back to retwisting.
No, I have skills. I just haven't really done them around him, so he wouldn't really know.
I'm just messing with you, sir. Sir, I'm just having fun with you, seriously. But you can't tighten that line up. Never know who's gonna get talked about when you come here. Could be the witness, could be the complaint, could be the defendant. Everybody. Could be Doyle, he gets talked about. Everybody's fair game when they walk in here.
Plaintiff Gerald Grimes says after he met the defendant through his fiance's son, Gerald added him to his cell phone plan, but the defendant failed to pay the bill.
Tell me about the cell phone. He agreed, and you had it turned on when?
It was
exactly?
September of 2012, was on the 3rd.
Okay. And the agreement was that he'd pay for all of it?
Correct.
All right. And so what occurred?
So what happened was things were going pretty smoothly, but then I was contacted by Darius. He said, "Why'd you shut my phone off?" I said, "I never shut your phone off." And so I contacted the phone company, and they said it was...
When was this?
Now, this was October, about October 10th.
1 month later.
Correct, sir.
All right. Go ahead.
What happens is I called them up, and they said it was shut off because of lack of payment. So then I told them, I said, "Can we get an extension on it and get, make a payment by, say, the 18th? They said, "Sure." So they turned the phone back on. And things went, as normal for a while. And then there was some type of a disagreement with people and everything. And so I contacted him through Facebook and said, "What can we work out," or whatever, and I never got a response. Well, then I went to cut the phones off. And once I did, called them up, they said, "Well, we were going to turn the phones off in 2 days anyway." And I said, "Really?" And they said, "Yeah, we never received a payment at all from any, not on this account at all."
Sir?
That's a lie. And because
I know all that jury you floss, and I hope you pay your
the first
bills.
bill was paid.
You're not ghetto fabulous, are you?
No, I just like to take care of myself.
Well, then take care of your bills. I hope you like that, too.
I do. Because the first month's bill was paid, and he was with me and my witness as the bill was paid, and I paid half of the second bill, and now I had arranged to pay the rest of the bill. But before I could do that, the phone was turned off, and I did not contact him. He contacted me telling me the phone was off, and I did respond to him, and it says it right here.
All right, but you owed money. And when you owe money and you don't pay the bill, it's a utility or a phone, they cut it off.
They weren't going to cut it off because
they made an arrangement.
Yes, I made an arrangement.
With the phone company?
Yes.
You can't do that unless it's in your name. From all I know, you can't make arrangements on the telephone bill that is in someone else's name. You can't go there and say, "I want to cut Judge Mathis' phone off." Oh, I want to increase the payments that Judge Mathis pays every month. I want to change the type of service from 100 hours a month to 20 hours a month. Can't alter anything. So unless you're able to prove otherwise to me, you haven't convinced me that, one, you had a payment arrangement, and two, that the phone company is not the one that cut it off. That's the real issue. Who cut it off? You're saying he had it shut off?
He had it shut off.
All right.
He sent it to me in a
and you owed money at that point.
I mean, yeah, but the phone wasn't cut off because of me.
It was cut off because of me not paying.
No, it was arranged to be paid. And before I could pay it, the phones were shut off.
Right,
by
but
him.
he had no obligation to wait for your payment arrangement.
He knew about the arrangement.
Did you agree to an arrangement for him to pay?
Well, just that one time I was with him. I didn't know how much and when he could pay, so I did when I put my information in, my password and everything, I handed the phone over to him and let them talk to customer service. So he is being truthful about that. He did talk to them.
And so, when was that?
That was October the 10th. And the agreement was the payment should have been the 18th.
Agreement was on the 10th, is that correct?
Yes.
And the agreement was that you'd pay it all on the 18th?
I agreed that the phone bill would be paid.
18th never came up?
No.
When did you agree to pay it?
Before the next bill was due.
And when would that have been?
In November.
Was the payment arrangement to be extended through November?
What I heard them say was he had to make a payment by October 18th.
Okay, and you say November?
Yes.
All right.
Plaintiff Gerald Grimes says after he met the defendant through his fiance's son, Gerald added him to his cell phone plan, but the defendant failed to pay the bill.
Anyone have any evidence as to when the arrangement was supposed to be extended until? Because you cut it off.
Yes.
Not the phone company.
Yes, but they were going to in 2 days.
They said they gave him to November.
Well, what I heard him say when he had the phone.
You heard on the phone.
With him when he was.
But you didn't verify it independently.
Correct. You're correct.
So I don't know.
But I couldn't contact them anymore because.
You don't have to contact him. You have an arrangement.
Right.
All he has to do is go up to the phone company and pay, pursuant to his arrangement. Mm-hmm. But you didn't allow him to fulfill his arrangement. You cut it off before he could.
I cut it off because of the restraining order.
Okay, now you're throwing another piece of game at me. That's the first I'm hearing of a restraining order. Why hasn't someone told me this has something to do with the case?
If there was problems with the account, I wouldn't be able to contact them. If there was lack of payment.
Problems like what?
Lack of payment, things like that.
All right, these cancellation fees are in question, the termination fees. However, the usage, how much is that, sir?
Is $500.
Okay. And the balance is for termination fees?
That is correct.
And I'm not going to conclude that you had a right to terminate it because he had made a payment arrangement. Then the restraining order comes up. Oh, I'm cutting it off.
The restraining order had nothing to do with me.
It had nothing to
It
do
had
with
nothing
you.
to do with me.
It wasn't on him?
No.
What happened is
Who was the restraining order against, sir?
me. It was against me, but it was.
By whom?
It was by Wanda's son because there was a disagreement and things, and he
But
was one of the.
nothing
And
to
he
do
was.
with the person you had a contract with.
That's why I contacted him. I said I need a.
No. You canceled the contract, saying because you had a restraining order. But that restraining order had absolutely nothing to do with the person you had the contract with. I'm not giving you a dime over termination fee. I'll grant you the balance on the phone bill for the time that he used it, but you canceled it erroneously. $500, and that is for the bill. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Well, you know, both of y'all are my kids.
I love you.
I love you too. I love you both.
But
Darius paid that bill.
I mean, I love my mom. Me and my mom, I mean, we had disagreements, but it got resolved. I mean, as far as the phone bill was concerned, I mean, it was cut off without us having knowledge of it being cut off until we tried to make a phone call. How can you, I mean, pay something when you don't? We never got the bills. They all went to him because it was in his name.
Don't take the law into your own hands. Let me show you how to settle it in court. Go to AskJudgeMathis.com.